So hi Coney, it's Emma here from Celebrity Cruises and I'm very happy to be joined by Vicky, who is manager for the Discover team. So hi Vicky, and thank you for joining me today.
Hi everyone.
So we're here to talk to you all about Celebrity Cruises and Alaska. We have both been very fortunate to have visited Alaska this year. I was on board the beautiful Celebrity Eclipse sailing from Vancouver, and Vicky, which ship were you on?
I did the Celebrity Millennium from Vancouver in the end of August, beginning of September.
So that's great because I went at the beginning of June. So we've got two different times of the year that we have both visited. Now, one of the most incredible itineraries that you can do is the Hubbard Glacier. And I know that Vicky also visited a number of these ports of call. So they went directly from Vancouver, Celebrity Millennium and Celebrity Eclipse. So Vicky, what did you think of Vancouver and how long were you there beforehand?
So I had 3 nights in Vancouver. It's my second time to Vancouver, and I absolutely love it. It's one of my favourite cities in the world. It's just everything is all about being outside. It's a really easy city to navigate. So everyone hires bikes, and you can cycle around the city. And there's so much to do there as well. So we did like Capilano Suspension Bridge. You went to Grouse Mountain. You can cycle your bikes to go to Granville Island Food Market as well. And there's loads and loads to do in Vancouver. And it's just a really cool, chilled out, beautiful city. And it's just about being outside and being on the waterfront.
Absolutely. It's my first time to Vancouver and I loved it. But just some of the top pickouts to talk to your customers about is the ship that you can see there, Celebrity Millennium, docks directly in the downtown. So wherever your customers are staying in Vancouver, it's really easy to get to the port of call. And the actual port is called Canada Place. And a top tip here is once your customers check in, they also clear US immigration before boarding. So this allows them, when they're getting off the ship in the different ports of call in America, they don't have to do anything for immigration. One of our top hotels is the Pinnacle Hotel, which is directly opposite. And what's good to know is the hop-on, hop-off stops directly outside Canada Place too. So you'll see there, Celebrity Millennium docked in downtown Vancouver. Now, we call Inside Passage a sea day. It is more than a sea day. There is so much to see. Vicky, what did you do on the sea day or the Inside Passage here?
So unfortunately, on our way up there, the weather wasn't great. So it was pretty cloudy. There was lots of rain on that day. So we just kind of used all the ship's facilities and went to the gym, went into the inside swimming pool, used the jacuzzis, all of that kind of stuff. But when we sailed back, the weather was amazing, and we were out on deck. It's a really chilled out, lovely, lovely day. And you just sat there and watch. I mean, I had my book and I was just planning on just having a chill out and reading my book. But you don't, because you're constantly on the lookout for whales. We saw so many orcas and humpback whales as we were sailing through the Inside Passage. It was incredible.
It is such a different day than a stereotypical sea day. And of course, as you said, you're always on the lookout for wildlife, but there's glaciers, there's fjords, the coastal mountains. And I was on board Celebrity Eclipse, which has half an acre of real grass right at the top of the ship. So to sit back and relax there at the sunset bar, have a drink and just take in the views instead of just stereotypically standing by a pool and looking out, the half an acre of real grass is brilliant to be able to take in those views. So here is Vicky sailing on the Inside Passage here. The weather doesn't look great. I can obviously vouch for that there, but it sounds like you had a great time whilst you're on board those two Inside Passage days.
We really did, yeah. I mean, when we thought we had 2 full days at sea, we thought, what are we going to do? But actually, those days flew past. You do manage to fill up your time. And like I said, we were just constantly just on the lookout for stuff.
Perfect. And one of the ports of call that we both did was Icy Strait Point. So this is near the very, very small town of Juneau, which there's an average population around 1,050. But this actually halves as the season goes on into the winter. Lots of people go to Alaska for the summer and then migrate south for the winter. But Because it is only 60 miles south of Glacier Bay, it is great for wildlife spotting, including bears and whale watching. But Vicky, what did you do whilst you were in Icy Strait?
Oh, I loved Icy Strait. So we did a hike up to one of the mountains. We were on the lookout for bears, but unfortunately we didn't see any. But the weather, I mean, when we were there, I think the weather was about 14, 15 degrees, which is a nice temperature for all the locals. They were saying it was really, really hot for them. But we did this really beautiful walk and just had amazing views all over Icy Strait. And then in the afternoon we went kayaking, and which was incredible. Didn't see any whales, but we did have a sea lion that followed us all the way around, and we also saw loads of bald-headed eagles as well.
So it is a great place to see wildlife whilst you are there. And two of the most popular excursions that you can do from Celebrity is, of course, you've got the zip line here, which is the longest in Alaska. And as Vicky said, the hiking, you can just walk straight off the ship and go and explore the local area. Now, I was lucky enough to do the Hubbard Glacier, which is actually 6 miles wide, and it is probably the most beautiful place I have ever seen. So, of course, on Celebrity Eclipse, it's our Solstice class ships, and there's plenty of open areas for your customers to go out and experience the glacier. 85% of that ship has a balcony, so it does give them more and more options than ever before to be able to sit back on their balcony and see incredible views. But as you can see here, the glacier, so the blueness of the glacier is the fresh ice. The more grayer is the ice that's been there for a longer period of time. So we're typically there for around 2.5 hours. The ship will do 360-degree tours. So wherever you are on the ship, they'll have that incredible view of the Hubbard Glacier. And then we went to Juneau, which became the capital of Alaska in 1906. And Vicky, you also went to the Mendenhall Glacier here as well, which is one of the glaciers from Juneau.
Yes, I did. It was brilliant. It was really, really good. So you can see the glacier in the background behind me, and then if you're looking at the screen to my right, you can see the waterfall. We probably had about half an hour at Mendenhall, but that gives you enough time to walk over to that waterfall and get better views of the glacier because you're closer. Obviously, see the waterfall and then come back. It was a really great experience.
It's a great way to go straight from the ship. You get on a coach, you head over to the Mendenhall, and it is so easy to just walk around there. And as Vicky said, you can just walk straight up to the waterfall. You can do kayaking there. Lots of people tend to do the kayaking into the Mendenhall too. But if your customers don't want to venture out, they can also do the Mount Roberts Tramway, which is directly from the ship. So they can walk off the ship and go right up to the top of that mountain to see spectacular views of the area. Now, I added this picture in because everyone always asks, it's going to be cold, it's going to rain, it's going to snow in Alaska. Well, when I was there, this is June the 6th, there was highs of 18, lows of 7, but the daylight hours was just under 18 hours. So whether it's early morning or late evening, there's plenty of spaces both on our Millennium class and Solstice class to be outside enjoying a drink, especially as you're watching the sun going down and looking out for those whales. And also there you'll see Vicky and her sister who enjoyed that sunset here in the background. So again, Vicky, in the evenings, what did you enjoy about being on board?
It was just everything all the entertainment that you could do. So we went to the shows, when some of the shows were really, really great. And you also had a lot of those nature talks as well, which were brilliant because it gave you a bit of an idea of what you were going to see the next day. One of my favourite bars on the Millennium was the Martini Bar, which was, it was great. And the staff were absolutely fantastic as well. They were really, really great.
So there is so much, as you mentioned there, the Martini Bar, one of our favourites on our Solstice and Millennium class of ships. So it's great, again, in the evenings when you're sailing from port to port, even in Alaska, to enjoy the ship's facilities. And then we also went to Ketchikan, which is Alaska's first city. It's also the salmon capital of the world. Right from the ship itself, you've got the Lumberjack Show, you've got Totem Road, rainforest hiking. Vicky, what did you do whilst you were in Ketchikan?
So this was one of my favourite places, and we did an excursion called the Coastal Wildlife Cruise, and I think that was my best excursion because it's the only place that we saw bears. So the excursion was incredible, and we got to see a mummy bear with her 2 cubs, and you also got to see loads of seals, sea lions, otters, and bald-headed eagles as well. So that excursion I would definitely recommend anyone to book that one. And we also walked around Ketchikan as well, walked through Creek Street, and then we followed the river, and we saw loads and loads of salmon trying to swim upstream, which was a really impressive sight as well.
Fabulous. So Ketchikan again is a great place. You can walk straight from the ship here, and there's always a chance to see what I like to call web, which is whales, eagles and bears. So this is the top 3, the big 3 that people go to Alaska for. You'll see here whales, eagles and the bears. I did manage to see all 3 and Vicky did too. So it is a great opportunity, whether you are on board the ship or whether you are out to do a shore excursion, or whether you are just walking around and suddenly you see a bear. So one of my top stories from my trip to Alaska was I was walking into Juneau by Icy Strait Point, looking for bears, as you do, and a local had come up to me and said, "Are you looking for bears?" He said they're down, there's a mama cub and a baby cub right down by the water if you want to go and see them. And right there and then they were there. So it's great to see them in their natural environment. But Vicky, what is your top tip for Alaska and again for celebrity cruises in Alaska?
I mean, top tip for Alaska, I would say pack loads and loads of layers because the weather is so interchangeable. We would have really nice warm days at sort of 20 degrees, and then it would change quite quickly. So if you're doing, if you are going on a trip, definitely clothing-wise, you need to take loads of layers. You definitely need a great camera as well, because some of the shots that I got, you don't get on your iPhone. You have to have a good camera. On board as well, I would also say download the Celebrity app. It was brilliant, and we were on it all the time. We were using it to book our dinner reservations and to book all of our excursions and things like that. So it's a really good app, that one.
So that's great. So Celebrity Millennium is one of our ships that has been fully revolutionised, meaning we have spent just over 75 million on the ship in particular. So it has brand new staterooms, suites, public areas, and of course the Celebrity app. So tell your customers about this because they can go on and book their excursions. But from me, I would say definitely talk to your customers about booking a balcony, concierge or aqua class because there's so much to see in Alaska. They want to be able to have that balcony experience. So thank you very much for joining me today, Vicky. We are going to send this out so everyone can learn more about celebrity cruises and Alaska.
Oh, you're welcome.